really frames the built environment.
It's not an easy task, but when you are in that company, you found those male fundis.
Yes, you did.
They normally say that a woman cannot control me, a woman cannot lead me.
Most important thing is to be known as you're good at what you do. I think that's the most important place to start.
When you have a passion on something and you want to do it, believe in yourself, carry yourself with head high, trust in yourself and trust in the process.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Well, go on, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth radio vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
And me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija mani especially ukisonga.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
They say the art without art would just be, get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kesioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Good afternoon and thank you for making time here for us on KBC's Lunchtime News. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Anne Wangeshim. And we start off in Busia County where 160 bags of fake bean seeds and other assortments have been identified by local enforcements from that particular area. Those are among the stories that we're keeping an eye on, including a transgenerational conversation that is also happening here in the capital, to be more specific, in Kawangware and Kangemi. Those are some of the stories that we're keeping an eye on at this hour. Also, some of the developments are from the corridors of justice. But let's take that particular story of Busia County, where 160 bags of fake bean seeds and unmarked bags of cotton seeds have been recovered at the Nambale sub-county agricultural offices during crackdown conducted by detectives from DCI Busia County. The crackdown comes days after farmers raised concerns on the circulation of fake seeds in the market. So far, no one has been arrested, though investigation has been launched to find the culprits behind it. During the raid, Busia Senator Okia Omtata noted that the confiscated fake seeds had initially been supplied by Busia County government through a project that aimed at transiting farmers from tobacco farming to substance farming before being hijacked by rogue dealers. Okia added that earlier investigations had revealed that the seeds could not germinate. Meanwhile, the affected farmers have been instructed to return the fake seeds to KEFI's offices for compensation.
Wameangalia hata ile package tulipata haikuwa na seal ya KEFI's ya kuonyesha kwamba serikali imeidhinisha, lakini jambo ambalo limetokea kabisa ni kwamba hii mbegu mbaya imetoka kwenye county government ya Busia, na hapo ndio tunataka tufuate kutoka hapa tuende mpaka tufike kwenye ile chemichemi hii maji chafu imetoka. Inasemekana hii mbegu imesambazwa county mzima, lakini ushahidi ambao tuko nayo ni hii namba ile yenye tumeshika hii. So hapo ndio ushahidi huko, lakini intelligence inasemekana kwamba hii shamba, hii mbegu mbaya imesambazwa kila mahali.
Elsewhere, 7 people have been arrested during a crackdown that has seen the recovery of at least 100 million shillings worth of counterfeit cooking oil in Vita, Mombasa County. The multi-agency operation led by the Anti-Counterfeit Authority (ACA) uncovered a processing plant for the oil declared unfit for human consumption, as well as a branded packaging material. With 4 other suspects managing to escape, the authorities say the manhunt will continue even as it put rogue operators on notice.
Our investigation is continuing. We have quite a number of other agencies that we need to collaborate with in terms of submission of samples to ensure that whether the cooking oil is fit for consumption. And from the look of things, you have seen that the goods are not fit for consumption.
Elsewhere, normalcy is slowly returning to Gatundu South schools after a wave of unrest forced the closure of several institutions. A crisis meeting convened by education and security officials, together with Area Member of Parliament Gabriel Kangombe, has paved the way for the reopening of affected schools and set out measures to restore calm. The unrest, which saw dormitories torched and property destroyed in institutions, among them Jadhiru Boys, Mohoho Boys and Murira Boys High School, has been linked to exam pressure, unpopular reporting deadlines and strict frisking rules.
They have discussed the unique issues from different schools, and we've been able to identify a solution to all of them. And I'm happy to report that now we have started coming back to normalcy. I can report that Queen of Peace Nembu has come back today, and we've agreed that by the end of the week all the schools should have come back. The ones that were mainly affected by raising down of the infrastructure were 3, namely Mororia, Oshekeni and Moho, and we've agreed with the principals that they will be able to take care of that situation without further ado.
Now, given that I had informed you, there is a transgenerational conversation that is currently happening in Dagoretti. Our very own Kamche Menza is currently on the scene. We want to get a feel of the conversations that are happening in that particular area. Remember, the second edition of the transgenerational conversation will be held here officially in the capital on a Thursday from 7:30 all the way to 9 p.m. Of course, touching on the youth of this particular country and bridging the gap between the generations. Let's get to see more from our very own. Time for us. Tell us what is happening.
Well, Hashim, like you said, today the National Cohesion and Integration Commission has pitched camp in Kawangware, Dagoretti South, to be specific, and has brought on board members or residents of the members of the public or residents within Kawangware to be able to engage on matters governance and matters security and peace across the country, and also issues that are affecting the different generations. Remember, this is under the transgenerational conversation, and this is sort of like a mini forum. Remember, the county level forum will be held on Thursday, but from yesterday, today, and tomorrow, they have been holding the mini forums at the informal settlements level, and those are the areas that they have been targeting. We shall be joined a bit later by Millicent Okach, but right now, I just want to remind the public that this is a transgenerational conversation that the NCIC has, or rather is conducting in partnership with KOICA, that is the Korean International Cooperation Agency, in partnership with UNDP. And of course, this is a program that is going to be carried out countrywide. But for now, allow me to bring on board Millicent Okach to be able to, give an overview of what exactly is happening. Why have they chosen the informal settlements, and basically what are they planning to achieve? Karibu sana, Millicent. Maybe to start us off, what are you planning to achieve by this?
We are planning to achieve by turning violent protest into meaningful engagements, and more specifically, why we are in informal settlements. They are densely populated. They target the most vulnerable of communities, and also for the citizens in this country. And so in the run-up to protest by Gen Z, NCIC, as we are charged with the mandate to ensure that we hold the nation together, we thought it wise to develop a framework on transgenerational conversation, which we have been rolling out since 2024, and we carry on with it to date. And currently we are targeting informal settlement, and for the Nairobi, we are holding a conversation in the informal settlement in the run-up to a grand national forum, which will be happening on Thursday. And our main purpose is to offer platform where the youth and the other generation are able to engage meaningfully, not in confrontation, not in abuse, but are able to identify issues that affect them and also profile solutions, which according to them, if implemented, then should be able to transform from protest to meaningful engagements.
You spoke about the informal settlements. We understand if we talk about protest or violence, then those are some of the areas that are highly affected. And residents there, some of the residents still have wounds. How is this conversation planning to go about that?
Some of the wounds, yes, they are deep, and we understand that they cannot be healed in one session. And so we plan to hold other sessions post this, and also to partner with other institutions to come and offer psychological support, because some of the people we are engaging here were directly affected. They lost loved ones. They were assaulted in the midst of the violent protest, and so it will be necessary for some psychological support, and also to just have some form of national healing. Yes, and we know that this cannot be done by NCIC alone, and other stakeholders must also come on board. And so in the session here today, we have religious leaders, and the youth and the other generations are really asking hard questions why they allow leaders to abuse the platforms where they are supposed to seek refuge, where they are supposed to seek solution when nothing else is working. And all we know how issues of religion are very sentimental to this society. So we intend to have follow-up engagements post this, and also in the run-up to 2027 general elections. So we are not starting late, but we are starting early. Elections are about 2.5 years to come, but we will continue with these conversations as we also bring other stakeholders on board.
One of the issues, maybe to my last question, one of the issues has been regarding tokenism that the leaders have been doing. How do you interpret this, and how is NCIC going about this thing in terms of addressing this whole issue?
Of course, a lot of issues have arisen around tokenism and how leaders abuse their position by offering incentives so as to maim the citizen not to hard questions. But the Gen Zs here, they're saying that they will no longer take that. They are ready to ask the leaders accountability in terms of the resources they have been given, in terms of their manifesto, what they said they would do. And so they really want to see results, and they'll no longer settle for less in the form of small position in the form of whatever tokenism that they might be able to provide.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Millicent, as I let you to go back to the conversation. Abdi Aziz Hashim, you had it from the Director of Research and Knowledge Department, that is from the NCIC, just giving us an overview of what exactly is happening here. I remember this Thursday, the Nairobi County will be holding the county-wide transgenerational conversation. This is just a mini forum, but on Thursday that will be happening from the county level. So that's it from here. Back to you in studio, Abdi Aziz.
Well, thank you so much. That is Kamche Menza, and indeed we're already even playing that particular promo on our various sets where that particular conversation will be happening at the Kenya Methodist University Nairobi campus on the 11th of September. That will be on a Thursday, and it will start exactly at 7:30 p.m. All the way to 9 p.m. You do remember it will be a similar one to the one that was carried out in Marsabit County. Stay tuned for that particular conversation and for more in our subsequent bulletins. Elsewhere, the Nyeri National Polytechnic is adopting modular training as a key pillar of its competency-based education and a training curriculum. The new model will enable students to acquire skills in manageable units. According to the Chief Principal, Dr. David Mwangi, the initiative is designed to help learners progress from micro-credentials to full Level 6 qualification. He explained that the modular approach makes training more flexible, accessible and affordable, while equipping students with industry-relevant skills, including advanced competencies in artificial intelligence and aligning learning with the current labor market demands.
Curriculums and computational standard in a way. You can come here for 3 months and you go home with a certificate. You don't need to be here for 6 years or 3 years to go with a what? With a certificate. So if you feel that you just want to do petrol engine, come and we are going to tell you about petrol engine, review certificate and go home.
And in other news, a local-based bank has reaffirmed its commitment in supporting Machakos University to accelerate co-creation of sustainable future through the financial partnership to students and the academic staff. Sidian Bank's Director of Finance and Strategy, Douglas Mwangi, highlighted that the holistic financial program will provide scholarships, endowment funds, financial literacy programs, and investment opportunities, as well as offering internships. He further said that the bank will strengthen alumni engagement and institutional growth. Sidian Bank seeks to make a lasting impact by empowering youth, graduates and alumni with tools for financial growth and entrepreneurship. Mwangi was speaking while handing over 1 million shillings a check during the university's 10th graduation.
Areas that we can be able to work together. Again, as I emphasize on our tagline of co-creating sustainable futures, we would really like to move with that as our vision and then as our foundation for moving together. Because in the growth of the institution, I know there are activities that we have participated together, even like the student innovations.
Arid areas where water is a challenge, Kibwezi, Emali, Kitui, those are some of the areas in around this region and also elsewhere. So we will be doing quite some activity in that space. So we will look to partner with yourselves just around that wash sector, and anything we can do either for the institution, for the students, or for any of your other partners.
Elsewhere, the Embassy of China in Kenya has hosted a symposium on the 80th anniversary of victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. He held just days after a grand parade in Beijing. The Nairobi event brought together diplomats, overseas Chinese and Kenyan scholars, all stressing that anniversary is not about hatred but about remembering sacrifice and drawing strength for peace.
At the Chinese embassy in Nairobi, a symposium bringing together diplomats, overseas Chinese and Kenyan scholars was held to reflect on the history and lessons of China's World War II victory. Charge d'Affaires Zhang Xinjiang recalled the 35 million lives lost during the war. He said remembrance is not about old grudges, but about ensuring such tragedy never happens again.
Remembering history is not about fostering hatred, but about preventing the tragic recurrence of history. Holding a military parade is not about showing off military power, but about demonstrating the will and the strength for peace. While Chinese people paid a huge sacrifice of 35 million casualties and made a great contribution to the final victory of the World Anti-Fascist War. These facts are indisputable and should not be forgotten, distorted, or misinterpreted.
Chinese community in Kenya also voiced their reflections. Gao Wei, chairman of the Chinese Overseas Association in Kenya, said the pain of history is matched only by the determination to look forward.
This tragic history reminds us aggression brings disaster, and peace must never be taken for granted. A nation that forgets its history loses its direction. Our commemoration is not to keep hatred alive, but to gain strength for the future.
Kenyan voices echoed the call. Professor Peter Kagwanja from Africa Policy Institute said China's wartime resistance inspired Africa's liberation struggles.
As the primary eastern theater of the war, China was the decisive force in defeating Japanese fascism, contributing significantly to save humanity's civilization and defend world peace. We are never intimidated by any bullies, President Xi Jinping said, warning that China was unstoppable.
Dr. Hassan Khaneji of the Horn International Institute warned against attempts to erase China's role in defeating fascism.
Today we stand at crossroads of history, where there is a struggle between those who want to maintain the status quo defined by force, imperial adventurism, economic dominance, and convenient provisionism on one hand, and those who seek to build a more just and equitable world for shared prosperity.
He said revisionism and unilateralism threatens the post-war order and called on the global south to work together to defend peace and build a fairer world. Reporting for KBC, I'm Alvin Counder.
Now, in other news, a new site inspection handbook has been launched in a bid to tighten supervision during the construction of buildings to protect the integrity of the buildings themselves. The handbook, developed by engineers, the National Construction Authority and the county government, sets clear safety checks in every stage of construction, from electrical fittings to structural integrity. Now, Institutions of Engineers of Kenya President Engineer, that is Shama Kiteme, says the handbook will not only save lives by preventing buildings from collapsing, but will also hold professionals accountable, ensuring that no building is erected without meeting the strict safety standards outlined.
And this site inspection handbook just provides, at minimum,
the need to have professionals involved. The professionals who signed that they were involved in inspection of these buildings will leave their credentials there. They will leave their contacts there. They will sign below dotted line. And so it increases accountability, and people will be held responsible for their professional obligations towards construction and infrastructure development.
Now, adult Kenyans have been urged to enroll in education programs to avoid being left behind in the digital era, with Kwale County signaled out as one of the counties hardest hit by illiteracy. According to the State Department of Social Protection and Senior Citizens, there are currently 2,236 learners enrolled in adult education centers in Kwale County.
While Kenya's national adult literacy rate stands at 82.9%, functional literacy is much lower at 57%. In Kwale, there are currently 2,236 learners enrolled in adult education centers, with officials urging more enrollment.
Katika ule mfumo wetu wa basari, nimewapa nafasi kama mtu anaona amelemewa, anaweza kujazia fomu mtoto wake akaomba basari, na pia baadaye naye akajijazia akaenda kuendeleza na masomo.
Speaking during the Adult Education Day in Kwale County, PS Joseph Motari said the learning is not just about literacy, but also empowerment.
Vile nimesema, imeenda kidijitali. Na wakibaki nyuma inamaanisha kwamba hata biashara ile ndogo watafanya, watatapeliwa.
Meanwhile, Busia County Adult Education Director Ann Mayoyo encouraged more men to enroll in adult classes, saying women's participation has steadily increased.
Kwa community zetu kwamba wacha tukaweze kuchukua kisomo hiki kwa wingi. Hii ni free government program ambayo serikali imetuletea ili tukaweze kuimarika katika hali ya kusoma na kuandika.
Doreen Arange for Lunchtime News.
Operations at the Ministry of Lands, Embu County, have grounded to a halt after Kenya Power disconnected electricity over 40,000 shilling bill. The disconnection has forced staff to work in poorly lit rooms, slowing down services. Embu Senator Alexander Mundigi, who made an impromptu visit to the offices, called on Lands Cabinet Secretary, that is Alice Wahome, to urgently intervene.
Aweze kusaidia registry ya Embu County hapa town na ndio headquarter ya Embu, aweze kulipa ama kusaidia vile bili ya stima, kwa sababu hakuna kitu yote inaweza fanyika katika registry bila stima. Ni giza na title kama ni ya kutolewa mpaka iangaliwe kwa machine. Kwa hiyo mambo ya ajabu. Embu registry ya land inafaa ilipiwe 40,000 ndio stima iweze kurudishwa, ndio watu wa Embu County waweze kuhudumiwa.
The National Lands Commission NLC is sounding the alarm over increasing subdivision of land, particularly in the areas that are agriculturally productive. Speaking during a stakeholders forum in Kisii County, NLC chairperson, that is Gershom Otachi, said the rapid fragmentation of land is undermining farming sustainability. Leaders and partners, including the Food Agriculture Organization FAO and the European Union, underscored the need for policy intervention.
The things that we did a couple of years back was to look at the effect of fragmentation of land on food security. And we came up with certain findings that were very surprising or shocking in terms of how fast land, particularly in the areas that are agriculturally productive, is being subdivided.
When we're talking about the issue of this affordable housing, is something that can be able to ease the pressure of the pressure on issues of land.
Elsewhere, Isiolo County elders are calling for a ceasefire among county officials amid a deepening governance crisis following a failed impeachment attempt against the governor Abdi Ibrahim Guyo. Speaking in Isiolo, Mohammed Ali, the vice chairman of the Borana Council of Elders, lamented that over 21 billion shillings allocated to the county in the past financial years have not translated into tangible benefits for the locals owing to the squabbles. He warned the wrangles have led to disputed budgets, insecurity and corruption claims paralyzing service delivery.
Unapeleka Nairobi ambaye kwa mwaka tunapata bilioni 7 na kwa miaka 3 ni bilioni 21. Hiyo 21 yote zimeelekea kule Nairobi na hatuna hofu kusema ya kwamba hiyo pesa ilienda mahali gani.
Kuanzia tarehe 9 mwezi wa 6 mwaka huu kulikuwa na tatizo ambaye ilikuwa inaendelea katika kaunti yetu ya Isiolo. Hasa baada ya viongozi wa county assembly wa Isiolo kuchukua jukumu ya kuondoa mamlakani governor wa Isiolo. Tatizo lituanzia pale.
Saa hii Bonoko speaker anapeleka Lonyero wanaweka hema. Ni aibu kubwa sana kwa Wakenya. Ni aibu. Saa hii sisi Kenya imeendelea. Mambo ya kwenda kuweka ofisi chini ya hema ni aibu kubwa sana. Kwa hivyo hawa ni watu wanachochea kwa vita ya Isiolo. Ndio mnaona watu wanakaa kutukanana kwa media. Ndio mnaona watu wanapigana hata kwa mkono. Hatutaki vita Isiolo. Tumepotesha maisha ya watu wetu na hatutaki kuendelea kupotesha maisha ya watu wetu.
And on that note, we're taking a short breather. Don't go too far. Business and sports is up next.
Today, we are diving into a space that has for very long been dominated by men, but not anymore. I'm talking about the construction industry.
I was really intrigued by these skyscrapers. It was the 90s. There was barely anything like that in the city. And I just wanted to be a part of it. It felt like a sci-fi frontier.
Yes.
And going through my architecture studies, I was just really inspired and driven how architecture really frames the built environment.
It's not an easy task, but when you are in that company, you found those male fundis.
Yes, you did.
They normally say that a woman cannot control me, a woman cannot lead me.
Most important thing is to be known as you're good at what you do. I think that's the most important place to start.
When you have a passion on something and you want to do it, believe in yourself, carry yourself with head high, trust in yourself and trust in the process.
Welcome to the FIFA World Cup 26.
Kenya's stars on the football pitch continues to shine brighter. The dedication, the self-belief and enthusiasm across the board is visionary. Join us for the FIFA World Cup 2026 African qualifiers, Group F, from Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Your true sports partner.
Turns left, fires home. Kenya lead, building up to half-time.
Express yourself any place soon. Buy the new Be Lifetime bundle. Dial *544#.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country. across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, residents of Egu Kalinga village in Makinon Ward, Samburu Sub-County are crying foul over imminent eviction from their ancestral land and are calling on President William Ruto to intervene to urgently resolve the 5-decade-old land dispute involving a 10,190-acre ranch. The villagers want the land formerly known as the Duruma Group Ranch, bordering the Savo East National Park, restored to the community after it was allegedly grabbed by a powerful chief who is now deceased.
According to Changoti Lugwe, the only surviving original member of the ranch, the land was reallocated irregularly and renamed the property of Dakota Ranch Company, with the original occupants forcibly evicted.
Members walikuwa ni 25, ikiwepo wa kwanza ni huyo Chief Yusuf Ngala. Ilipoanza kufanya kazi, Chief Yusuf Ngala akabadilisha kwa njia ya ukorofi, kwa njia ya ufisadi, yale majina ya wale members wa Duruma Ranch akayatoa yote, akaweka members wa familia yake na ndugu zake.
Since then, the community has been denied access to their land, with numerous petitions over the years yielding no results, with their latest appeal made in 2021. The villagers accuse the descendants of the late chief of allegedly colluding with some Kwale land officials to expand the disputed ranch illegally, leaving them landless and unable to graze their livestock or build homes.
Sasa kitu ambacho tunataka shamba yetu, tumedhulumika vya kutosha kwa sababu yule mzee ametudhulumu, watoto wake pia nao wameingia wanatudhulumu zaidi. Wameanza kuongeza sehemu ambazo wakati huo sisi kama wanachama hatukusema huku kuwe range.
61-year-old Agnes Nyae said their movement has been curtailed as they are being blocked by armed guards from grazing their livestock.
Tunataka kutembea, hakuna tu kuvunja kuni, tukifika huko porini tunafukuzwa ni askari kwa kiwaya. Hata juzi tarehe 4 niliyopatikana maskari jeshi yu wawili na kiwaya mwenyewe. Akaanza kunifukuza na gari. Mimi ni mwanamke, nikakimbia, Mungu akanipatia maarifa. Nikakimbia, wakaenda mbele, mimi nikarudi nyuma. Wakapotwa ni miguu yangu. Saa hii ilikuwa niko mochari, mimi nilikuwa ni mazishi yangu leo. Saa hii mimi sina kwa kukaa jameni.
They are now calling on President William Ruto to intervene to resolve the issue.
Namomba serikali kuu ya William Ruto itusaidie. Hatuna pahali wa kufuga watoto wetu, hatuna pahali ya kukaa.
Mtuokoe tafadhalini.
From Kwale County, I am Anboro.
Now to the coast, where 6 billion shilling earmarked to support the blue projects across 5 counties in the coastal region. Among the intervention is the constitution of wetlands, the recycled water that will be used for irrigation to, of course, boost the irrigation here in the country. Our very own, and that is Regina Manyara, is joining us. Regina, what more can you tell us about this particular initiative?
Good afternoon to you too, Abdiaziz. Rightfully put, we are in the heart of Mikindani, and this is Ronyo. Forgive my pronunciation of that particular village, but this is where we are, and this is a site shillings project under the Go Blue projects funded by the EU. At having a circular economy, there are 3 components, including maritime, as well as environmental conservation. But for this particular project here, some of this particular village, which is Ronyo, could not think of getting into commercial agriculture. But now with this particular operational, they have taken up commercial agriculture using waters, or rather the effluent from 40,000 residential homes within here comes to this particular plant. It is purified using gravity and distributed, powered by solar to their farms. This for human consumption, but it is definitely good for the soil. And as you can see at the far background, we have farms sporting bananas. We're talking about pumpkins. There's also variety of beans as well as maize. This has introduced social economic development within this particular region. And some of the implementing bodies happen to be the UNEP as well as are joined by the NEMA County Director, that is Fanuel, to just tell us, for other than the social economic development impact, what else does it mean for the residents, especially when it comes to taking care of the ecosystem?
Thank you. We appreciate the impact of the project because it goes a long way in ensuring the county is compliant with Regulations 2024. In the water quality regulations, we have given ways of managing water, wastewater. So in this one, wastewater from residences in Mikindani gets here and it gets treated before it goes to the environment. So from an environmental perspective, it is done well, and it's an example which the county government of Mombasa can adopt to take to other areas of the county. This water here, the way she has said, is also very important and on community perspective because of the usage of the water for irrigation purposes. So as an environmental authority, that is the National Environment Management Authority, we appreciate and we recommend this kind of activities because it goes a long way in ensuring that our environment is safeguarded, our environment is protected, and our environment.
Very well said, as you've heard, Hashim. That's just but a quick summary from NEMA, that is the National Environment Management Authority, which is part of the stakeholders who are implementing these particular projects that are backed by the EU. There are plans to introduce this particular project across 6 coastal counties within the coastal region. This is one of them, and that there's no use of electricity in this particular project. The terrain here affords the engineers who are to just work with gravity. They use chips, they use concrete, and they use the reeds here to just clean up the air around here. We are basically where sewer collects, but we can still have good conversations and even sit without the disturbance, or rather just the air pollution. That just goes to say what they have used, the natural this area, and now on top of just cleaning up the air, they have given the villagers and the residents of Mikindani a lifeline. They can now venture into commercial activities. We're going to be keeping tabs on this particular Go Blue projects in the 3-4 days that we are down in the coastal region. Now back to you, Hashim, in Broadcasting House.
Well, thank you so much. That is our very own Regina, all the way from Mikindani, following up on that particular story when it comes to recycling water that will be reused for irrigation system. That is one of the example there in Mikindani that has constructed a wetland to address a long-standing environmental hazard by transforming raw sewage disposal into a circular water treatment and reuse system. And of course, our very own will be following on that particular story. Regina will brief us in our subsequent bulletins. Now, People's Liberation Party leader Martha Karua says the victims of a June and July protest must be accorded justice first by prosecuting the killer police. Karua said a compensation process should come second. This and more stories is in our political wrap.
Speaking in Kirinyaga County, Karua said police officers involved in the killing of Gen Z protesters during the June and July protest must face the full force of the law.
We want prosecution of the culprits. We want a commitment that never again shall the guns and whatever equipment the taxpayer has bought for our defense be used to murder, maim, and injure the innocent people who are merely expressing their rights. How do you organize a compensation team before issues of giving victims justice, because there cannot be peace without justice.
In Kiambu County, the leaders led by Thika MP Alice Nganga and Limuru's John Kiragwa, among others, said it was inappropriate time for leaders to engage in politics rather than push for development projects.
The fact that Kago aliacha hizo barabara kama vile mheshimiwa wetu Ruth ameongea, amesema aliacha Kago, ameweka barabara zile aliweka, vile aliwacha bado ndio zimekaa.
This is Migori County Woman Representative Fatuma Zainab said the opposition is showing disunity and therefore has no chance of unseating the Kenya Kwanza administration in the next general poll.
Hata upige kelele uchome nchi, Mungu akisha simamia akasema hii nuru nimeweka juu ya fulani, huwezi hata ukauchelewesha kwa dakika.
In Laikipia County, a section of ODM members want the party officials to discipline Mukogodo West MCA Nicholas Limpara for allegedly suggesting that Raila Odinga failed to support the late former Laikipia North MP Matthew Lempurker.
That we, the ODM county leadership, condemn on the utterances against our party leader, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, by the said MCA. We would like to mention that respect is paramount and our party leader must be respected at all times.
Give us Minor Lunchtime News.
The Ministry of Water has embarked on reviving the long-stalled water projects in Kitui County. According to Tanathi Waterworks Development Agency Boda Chair Regina Ndambuki, the government has deployed contractors to various water projects, including the Migwani borehole, which has remained unattended for more than 15 years. She assured the residents that the project will be operational within 3 weeks and is expected to benefit more than 10,000 households. Now, the water will be piped across a 15-kilometer stretch to reach surrounding communities, easing the burden of residents who currently trek long distances in search of water.
Alisha hata na fedha, president amepeana fedha hizo project sianze. Tumekutana na contractor na engineers, na engineer wetu wako around na tukakubaliana the next 3 weeks hizo solar panels zile ziko na shida sio zimetolewa, wameweka new one, wameweka pump huko na any leakage iko huko itengenezwe, kwa sababu so far the contractors done 5 kilometers pipeline there on the ground.
Kama wakina mama tunatembea kilometers karibu 15 kilometers tukitafuta maji, na hiyo maji tunatafuta ni ya kununua ni shilingi 5 kwa mtu kwa jerrycan. Sasa ukiwa una pesa kama mama, una siku hiyo unaruka bila kupata maji.
Hii maji ikitufikia tutashukuru sana na itakuwa serikali kabisa imetukumbuka. Shauri ni kama tulisaulika.
Baringo County Governor Benjamin Cheboy has urged youth to embrace alternative livelihoods to end insecurity in the region. Speaking at the launch of Cabernet Empowerment Center, Governor Cheboy praised national efforts to curb banditry, saying the area is now calmer. Deputy Governor Felix Kipngok emphasized that the insecurity will only end if young people abandon outdated practices such as over-reliance on livestock. The new center, equipped with ICT, a recording studio, indoor games and conferencing facilities, aims to create opportunities for youth-led enterprises.
Alternative sources of income, including technology. We must empower everyone, even those who have been fighting in Mukutani and those who have been doing their things in Saimosoe, so that they can see another alternative avenue of making money.
You are aware, our county has been branded as an insecure county. But through the engagement, through the discussion led by the various partners on bringing the youths to do other activities, we've been able to manage issues of insecurity in our county.
Stakeholders in the Boda sector are now advocating for intensified sensitization programs to educate riders on traffic rules and proper conduct led by Mount Kenya Boda Riders Association Chairman Jack Ndiritu. The players have condemned the increased crime rates associated to this sector, which serves as a source of livelihood to thousands of Kenyans. The call to action comes amidst increasing cases of cars being torched after an accident has occurred involving a vehicle and a motorcycle.
Sababu ya kwanza, Waziri Joho alikuja na gavana wetu Mung'aro wakakuja kusikiliza kilio chetu, na kwa sababu ya uzito wa malalamishi wakaamua kufunga Kware hadi pale watakaporekebisha matatizo yale yenye yako.
Jambo la kwanza ilikuwa ni ripoti ya kimazingira ambayo tulikuwa tuletewe na NEMA baada ya kutoa malalamishi yetu, athari zetu ambazo zimetupata kimazingira.
Kwa sasa tunaona kuna njia imetengenezwa. Mbeleni tulikuwa na mashida ya kutokuwa na committee, kulikuwa na yenye ilikuwa lakini community haikuwa inaamini. Tukarudi kwa community, tumekuwa na mikutano mingi kusensitize about the CDC na kuelezea umuhimu wa CDC.
Now welcome to business. The Competition and Consumer Watchdog in Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, Comesa, is warning manufacturers who are not complying with product information labeling standards to adhere to the Comesa Competition Commission says it is investigating such conduct by suppliers and will bring to book those violating the regulations.
Kenya is among 21 members of the Comesa regional bloc. The Comesa Competition Commission says it is looking into manufacturers who are not labeling their products with the information required under the product information standards.
That consumers have rights. They have a right to full and accurate information about the products they are consuming. They have a right to health and safety, and they also have a right to quality products. These are products which comply to all the mandatory standards.
According to the Comesa Competition Commission, product labels ought to have the product name, ingredients, date of manufacture, date of expiry, allergen information, nutritional information, country of origin, and batch numbers where applicable.
Failure by a supplier to give such information to consumers is an infringement of consumer rights. The Comesa Competition Commission will be focusing on such conduct by suppliers, and we will enforce the Comesa competition regulations accordingly.
The Commission says improper food labeling denies consumers knowledge on benefits or risks associated with the use of the products. The Comesa Competition Commission is also calling on consumers to report products that have not been properly labelled.
We therefore would like to request any consumers or relevant stakeholders who come across products which are not well labelled in the common market to report the same to us.
Betty Kiptum, Lunchtime News.
Over 51,000 small-scale tea farmers in Kirinyaga and Embu counties will benefit from a 6-month training on agribusiness, diversification, human rights and environmental conservation. Rainforest Alliance Country Director Marion Nganga says over 20,000 farmers have already been trained in partnership with 8 tea factories.
Farmers in central Kenya are being encouraged to diversify beyond tea and coffee to ventures such as avocado farming, beekeeping and small-scale tea packaging to boost income and build resilience against climate change. Each factory is expected to receive 1 million shillings revolving fund to support farmers-led projects.
We've been teaching them on how they can farm tea better using regenerative and modern agricultural practices, in how they will be able to better their tea, so that how they can better their financial literacy, so that they can, which will apply across all board when it comes to farming and other activities they do in their lives.
Ng'ang'a has cautioned that without deliberate efforts in environmental conservation, tea and coffee could lose quality, with climate change already having an impact on production.
We recognize through this training we are building the resilience of smallholder farmers and local communities to become self-sufficient, but also strengthen the ecosystem health that they very much depend upon for tea production and also production of other basic food crops.
Farmers say the initiative will help them cut production costs by adopting biochemicals.
Tumesoma mambo mingi, mambo ya diversification, kuweka ukulima ingine si tu majani chai, bali tuwe na kitu ingine tunafanya.
Sylvia Gatti for Lunchtime News.
Now, welcome to the world of sports. The 2025 National Sevens Circuit Data Sevens leg has received a financial boost of 3 million shillings from Kenya Breweries Limited. The leg is set to kick off this weekend at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Mamboleo, Kisumu.
The National Rugby Sevens Circuit heads to Kisumu this weekend for the Dala Sevens, where the championship will offer the crowning moment with KCB, RFC and Strathmore Leos, the two sides battling for the championship heading to the last leg. The championship has received a financial boost of 3 million shillings from Kenya Breweries Limited.
We are giving this money to be able to promote these teams, to be able to have to participate in these games, and we are really excited to see the development of the teams. We want to see them grow and get to further heights. Hope
generally these should actually give us an entire rugby experience, from entertainment to the fun, passion, and to generally the environment.
KCB Rugby led the standings after 5 legs with 104 points and will only need to make it to the quarterfinal to be crowned champions, irrespective of whether Strathmore Leos, who are second with 95 points, win the Dala leg or not. Pool A brings together Kabras Sugar, Kwea Monks, M-Mast and Nakuru RFC, while Pool B has Daystar Falcons, MSC Rugby, Kenya Harlequin and Nondescripts. KCB Rugby, Mwamba RFC, Homeboys and Embu RFC are in Pool C, while Pool D brings together Strathmore Leos, Menengai Oilers, Impala RFC and Kisumu RFC. Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
And finally, Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club's Elvis Muigia was crowned the 2025 NCBA Diani Beach Masters champion after triumphing in the Kenya Amateur Golf Championship leg held at the Diamond Leisure Lodge. Now, the championship attracted 55 players, including one golfer from Tanzania. Now, Muiga played rounds of 76, 74 and 72 to finish 6 over par 2-2 to narrowly edge out defending champion John Kamais and NCBA Railway Invitation winner Isaac Makoha, who both played a stroke more to finish over par 2-3. Muiga buoyed in the first hole, followed by 3 money bogeys in the 10th, the 15th and the 18th of the finish, the round of 76 strokes. Now, elsewhere, Italy snatched a last-minute victory over Israel in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers in a thrilling encounter that saw them win 5-4 at the Geredia Stadium. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Now, Israel broke the deadlock through Locatelli's own goal in the 16th minute before Moise Kean put Italy 2-1 up. The team looked on course for a 4-2 victory before Israel scored in the 84th and 87th minute to make it 4-4. Now, Sandro Tonali scored a winner in the 91st minute to secure all 3 points for Italy and maintain their quest for a World Cup qualification for the first time since 2014. And speaking of World Cup qualifiers, Harambee Stars will be taking on Seychelles at Kasarani Stadium, of course, trying to redeem themselves in the World Cup qualifiers. That concludes our bulletin this afternoon. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Anne Wangeshi. Good afternoon.
Welcome to the FIFA World Cup 26.
Kenya's stars on the football pitch continues to shine brighter. The dedication, the self-belief and enthusiasm across the board is visionary. Join us for the FIFA World Cup 2026 African qualifiers, Group F, from Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Your true sports partner.
Obam turns left, fires home. Kenya lead, building up to half-time.
Buy the new Be Lifetime bundle. Dial *544#.
They say the earth without art would just be get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
What do you do, my good people? Kuminane ngapi? Kuminane? Kuminane Supu, what's up? It is always a pleasure to get to bring this amazing show to your screens. And as you can see, I am by myself, so make sure that you're keeping me company until we get to the very end of the show. Trust me, we're gonna have a good time, because the shows that we got to cover for you, the people that we're gonna be highlighting for you today, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna enjoy yourselves for sure. So you can tell a neighbor to tell another, to tell a friend that we have just started. My name is Vivian Degua, or you can simply just call me Miss V. And you know what this right here is? Grapevine. Let's get this show on the road. What you gotta do? Allow me to start you off with an event that was full of high vibrations. It was a celebration of Nairobi's diverse flavors. Yes, we're talking about food, as we got to